The big difference we see in Norristown is that they came out throwing the ball, and Abington came out with the ball control offense, and so far that's been the better strategy. I think Abington definitely does have an advantage on such a warm, muggy night as it is here at Roosevelt Field. It's going to wear Norristown down, especially as we mentioned with all those two-way starters, and they're a little bit smaller, so they're not quite as durable. I'm sure they're all tremendously conditioned. Roger Grove always has a tough 3 weeks during the summer, but Abington is really up to the task of running right down the gut of Norristown.
And Doug Moister, head coach at Abington, of course, instructed his captains at the beginning of this game when they won the toss to defer, and they will receive the second half kickoff. So not only will they have the lead going into the second half of play, but they'll have the first crack at the ball.
And it looks right now to be a very good strategy. Because if they can get another touchdown here, they'll really put Norristown back on its heels and make them come out and try and force things a little bit. As we saw in that first half, those 24 minutes can really go quickly when a team's running the ball.
Well, let's recap that first half. That scoring drive for Abington was a real doozy.
That's for sure. It was a 15-play drive that ate up almost 8 minutes. And Abington went 91 yards for the score. And it was Brian Allen taking it in. One of his 6 carries was a 6-yard touchdown at 11:55 left in the second quarter. And then Norristown came right back. They came back with a field goal as they were down tight in Abington's near their goal line. And a couple penalties and a sack forced them to settle for a 29-yard Albie Morano field goal. So Abington spreading the ball around nicely. Terrell Johnson has 35 yards, Brian Blackstone 25 yards, Brian Allen 15 yards. But Abington keeping the ball on the ground, spreading it around. So far, still has Norristown a little bit confused.
And back deep for the Ghosts, it's number 2, Brian Blackstone, number 34, James Johnson. And this will be Albie Morano kicking off for the Norristown Eagles. 24 minutes to play, the Eagles down by 4. The officials are ready, the Eagles look ready. Morano's set to kick. It's a good kick, deep down the middle, taken on the far side by Johnson at the 15-yard line. He brings it right up the middle. He's got some running room. 2 guys to stop him, and they do, thank goodness for Norristown. But out to the 45-yard line, that was Josiah Perry, number 8, with the saving tackle.
Right, it was Perry and Baker also there, and there was only one more man back had he beaten Perry and Baker. But a real nice return, and he caught that one on the run. Now we see maybe why Morano was kicking away, because Abington has started out with really good field position right now. Norristown's going to have to put the clamps down immediately.
That young man on the run back was a sophomore, James Johnson, listed as a defensive back and a running back, and he really showed some speed on that carry. The Ghosts with good field position. Wow, they actually show a receiver wide left. The back's in the eye, and they still go off the right side to Blackstone. Good job by the Norristown line, though. That's going to be really no gain at all.
Abington changed sets, but not personnel. It was number 32, Brian Allen, the touchdown maker in that first half, who was split out wide. And it's kind of curious. It's not rare to see teams change their sets in the second half, but you wonder why Abington would go away from something that was successful. Not to say they're going to do that consistently, but here comes Allen again out to the left side.
So Allen, leaving his backfield mates, comes wide left. Out of the eye, they go left this time. Good ball carrying that time, and a nice shoelaces tackle by Ra Lusain. The ball carrier again, Brian Blackstone.
And the tackle out on that side is Matt Doherty. He's 6'4", 275 on the program. So you can see why some of these Abington linemen are having their way with the Norristown defensive linemen. It's really just a question of size. And Norristown is going to be challenged now to come up with a scheme to stop them. Because player on player, it's really a game of size right now, and Abington's going to win that.
3rd and 3 from the Norristown 48. Back to that traditional set. They go up the middle. Nice tackle by nose guard Will Gant. He's going to bring up 4th down.
Right.
Boy.
The only way to combat that size is with a little bit of penetration. And when Norristown's only advantage right now is their speed, and Will Gant's a key to that. So he's going to have to slip under there and really start hitting some guys in the offensive backfield. so that they can slow them up for their linebackers to come up and make some plays.
That was Terrell Johnson on the carry that time, and Gant just showing amazing quickness. Did a super job of containing that play right at the line of scrimmage, bringing up 4th and 3 for Abington. And I'll tell you, this is interesting. Norristown sets up for the punt, and Abington is going to go for the first down. Up the middle, it's going to be close. Boy, I'll tell you, Norristown was not ready for that, Walt. They had a man back deep, had to shuttle personnel at the last moment. Looks like they stopped him short.
Yeah, I think he stopped him about half a yard short, and by the mark, that's definitely it. They're not going to measure. They're going to change.
Boy, that's a heads-up play by that Norristown line. Give them all the credit. The secondary was in the midst of shuttling in and out, trying to get back from out of that punt formation, and Abington tried to ram it up their throat, and it didn't work.
Yeah, and Jeff Lofton-Thompson, after that play, just came limping off the field. He's limping badly, and it's going to be a question of whether we're going to be able to see him again for the rest of this game.
And as we thought we might see earlier, we now see Will Gant, number 30, at the tailback spot. Gant on the carry, up the middle, good yardage. Looks like about 6 on the play, and he crosses over into Abington territory very quickly.
Gant's used to shooting through holes, but that's shooting through holes on the offensive line as a defensive tackle. In this case, he's shooting through holes behind his offensive lineman. A great run right there. I mean, just kept the feet moving, and he's low to the ground, which makes him really tough to tackle. So maybe Norristown has another advantage there, but if they use Gant, that's yet another guy who's going to be worn down from the offensive side.
This time they bring Baker and Zitzer wide right. Kelly and Gann in the eye. Gann again. This time he waits to pick a hole. It's going to pick up about a yard, maybe 2, Walt, but good job that time clogging up the middle by the Ghosts.
And that was all Will Gann. He carried a couple guys to get that yard or 2. And Norristown also showing a little bit of a different look. They're coming out with Zitzer and slotting DeAndre Baker, both of them out to the right. So they're trying to throw Abington a little bit of a different look to keep them honest and keep their defensive backs off of that defensive line, keep them from stacking up, so that maybe there's a little bit of room to run.
Same set on 3rd and 2 for Norristown from the Abington 46-yard line. Oh, good penetration. They go with the option, and Gant is going to lose about 7 yards on that play, and Abington had that play eaten alive. The big tackle that time in the backfield came from number 42. That's Marcus Hoover, standout defensive player for the Ghosts.
And surprisingly enough, we really haven't called Hoover's name all that much, but that's what he does. He's a ball hawk, and he pursues people into the backfield, whether it be quarterbacks or in that case a deep running back. McClure, you can't follow him. He really had no option. At this point, the better option looks like he should have just held the ball, but at that point the play was designed to pitch back to Gant, and that's what he did. But Hoover was all over Gant, who now has to punt.
No option on the option for the Eagles. Will Gant, low snap, takes it. He's got some pressure, gets it away. It's a wobbler. It's going to hit it about the 30 and take an Eagle bounce. And, boy, that's a big break for Norristown. That ball's going to roll down to the 12-yard line where DeAndre Baker downs it. So good net yardage punt for Will Gant as, again, Blackstone allows the ball to hit. So Abington, good defensive stand there. Fine pursuit on that 3rd down play especially. And with 7:39 to play in the 3rd quarter, they will take over once again deep in their own territory, their 12-yard line, leading the Eagles 7-3. And, Walt, I don't see Lofton in there on defense either. Balmer comes around to the left side. Good blocking out front. I believe that was Blackstone on the carry. Yes, it was.
And Thompson has just entered your picture on defense. They're really going to need somebody to be a playmaker. At this point, it's looking like Norristown's going to need a turnover.
5 yards on that carry. Abington continuing to grind it out on the ground here. They've only attempted 2 passes tonight, I believe, Walt. One was a completion for a first down. The other was a pass interference call, which allowed them to pick up a first down on their scoring drive. This time it's Allen off the right side and nothing doing. He's gang tackled by about 6 guys. Ra-Ra Lusain's the first off the pile. some guys down underneath. Josiah Perry, I see crawling out of there. Linebacker James Kelly, Al Zone in on the tackle.
And he almost squeaked to the outside, but it was James Burrell, who is from his defensive end position, got an arm around the ball carrier that time. Slowed him up enough for all the help that you mentioned. And that's what it's going to take for Norristown is good team pursuit and good gang tackling, because one man is tied up enough by that huge Abington offensive line that it's tough for one man to make a tackle.
They pick up a couple, brings up 3rd and 3 from the 17-yard line. Allen in motion again. The quick handoff, close to a first down. Al Zone doesn't think they got it. We'll wait and see. The Eagles defenders trying to make the call. The officials trying to sort things out. Desmond Wright signaling no first down. And official timeout. We're going to bring the sticks out again. I think we're setting a record now for official measurements in one high school football game.
Well, that's what you're going to get out of a grinded out type of game that Abington's playing. You know, it's 3-4 yards a pop, and 3-4 yards and 3 downs is going to add up to just about 10. So it's going to be close on every turn.
He is short, about half a foot, folks. So now let's see if Doug Moister wants to go for it again on 4th down. This time a little deeper in his own territory at about his 20-yard line. I can't envision that he would want to risk a turnover here. A Norristown stop. A little Barry Switzer call if he goes for it. Now, Moister doesn't want to be known as the Barry Switzer of Suburban 1 National. He's going to punt the ball this time.
No, and Moister's difference in this case is he's up, and his defense is playing well, so he's got no reason to try it. It's tempting. I mean, they've only lost yardage on one run so far out of the many carries that they've had, but
now,
he's going to kick it away safely.
And now Norristown showing a little confusion about what to do on the punt coverage. Fake. They go for the pass out to the sideline. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Boy, I'll tell you, Doug Moister is going to the back of the playbook tonight. What a great call. They go to the outside. Norristown looked confused. The deep man Zitzer was looking to the sideline, and they pass out to the flat to Brian Allen and seemingly pick up the first down. One of the Norristown coaches is out on the field. What he's upset about, I'm not quite sure.
Well, that confusion on Norristown's part on the special teams and on the 4th down plays is really, really hurting them. I mean, they've got to get it together on that, since Abington is obviously willing to take the chances and willing to pull out the big play. And Norristown, in their confusion, is showing Abington that they can be had, that they're vulnerable to such trickery. That time, almost overthrown, but that man was so wide open. All the short man who took that snap had to do was just floated up there for the receiver on the sideline.
That's an incredibly risky play. I mean, anytime you throw the ball, you have obviously the chance of a drop pass, and for them to go for that from their own 20-yard line is incredible. And look at this run out to the outside. First down, looks like about 14 yards on the carry. And, Walt, that was number 34, that young man we saw on the kick return, James Johnson, sophomore running back.
Yeah, when you can get one of your running backs out that far, as Terrence Archer was that time, way about 10 yards past the line of scrimmage out there blocking, you've picked up pretty significant yardage on the run. In that case, that's what happened for Abington.
The Eagle defenders really need to collect themselves here. They can't let that trick play allow them to keep their heads down for the next 4 or 5. Because look at James Johnson just tearing up the turf. 10 yards again, looks like close to a first down. They're already going to move the sticks, I think.
Jeff, there really are just too many guys going both ways. I mean, Norristown, you can tell, they're just dragging right now, and on the trick play like that, you have those guys lining up on special teams or lining up on defense, and Abington and just keeping the clock moving, there is no breaks. I mean, this is the absolute worst offense that worst type of offense that Norristown could face. An offense that's just going to keep it on the ground and come right at you. On a muggy night like this, Norristown has to be just dead tired.
And there's a nice play by a new, fresh face. That's number 20 in on the tackle, Bobby Davis. And there's what you were talking about, Walt. I saw Gant come out of the lineup on that last play. I've also seen number 10, Garvin Stewart, who's been in and out. Looks like Grove is trying to to give some of his players a blow. Will Gantz coming over to the sideline to take a break.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to fault him for it because I really can't tell you exactly what else they have on that sideline to go in there. But at this point, it's obviously a fact of life for Norristown that they need a lot of guys going both ways, and it's hurting them tonight.
This time, they go up the middle to Terrell Johnson after no gain on that first play. Looks like they picked up several yards on their second down carry. Let's call it only 3 yards, making it 3rd and 7 from the Norristown 33-yard line. We've got an Abington player down. That's ball carrier Terrell Johnson, number 1, writhing in pain. Looks like a cramp, Walt, although we certainly can't be sure.
Well, he's stiffened up, so that could be what it is. This is a kind of night for it. You have to be losing a lot of fluid out there. We're losing enough just up here in perspiration, but the way they're working on it looks like that could be exactly what it is, and he'll just need a little break. But they'll need to get him back in because he's their main guy. And without him, there really isn't much else of a threat. Those other guys are made much more effective because of the threat of Terrell Johnson and his breakaway speed. So those other two are really enhanced by having Johnson back there. Without him, that offense will change drastically.
It's 3:58 to play in the third quarter, folks. Abington holding on to their 7-3 lead.
This is a much-needed break for the Eagles, too, and they're going to absolutely have to put up a stand right here to force your team to get 2 scores in the amount of time we'd have left, which would be about 16 minutes from this point, is going to be a tough task on a night like this, especially with some tired players out there. So a big stand is necessary right here. They can't let up any more than a field goal and have a real solid chance to win this game.
Well, the way Doug Moister's calling plays tonight, certainly this 3rd down and 7 situation is a 2-down call. Moister has gone for it on 4th down twice already in this game. Once falling short at just inside Eagle territory near midfield, and just recently on this drive converting a 4th and short on a fake pass as the crowd gives Terrell Johnson a round of applause as he comes to his feet, seemingly okay. So the Eagles are going to have to play this one for 2 downs, Walt.
Well, it's 3rd and 7. Depending on what Abington calls, you'll know what they're thinking, whether they're going to go for 1 or 2. A significant amount of their plays tonight have gained more than 7 yards, but if you see them just try and grind it up the middle, then you'll know that they're playing for 4 downs as well. At this point, there's no reason to go up in the air because even an incomplete pass would stop the clock and be an advantage for Norristown. So Abington wants to still come right at them, and I would expect them to come on the ground, especially in the eye.
They put Blackstone wide to the right, the backs out of the eye. We've had some movement on the line that time. I think that's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Ghosts.
And that's a huge call because 12 yards is a really significant difference from 7 yards.
Yeah, it's pretty much 5 yards.
Well, it's 5 yards to those of you who like to be precise. To those of us who know our football, Jeff, it's a huge psychological difference.
Ooh, those of us who know our football. I'll have to tuck that one away for a future game. I like that, yeah. So we're going to call it 3rd and 12 now from the Norristown 37-yard line. 3:27 to play here in the third quarter. And this time they're going to set James Johnson left, 4 receivers. We haven't seen this tonight. A single setback. Baumer's got everybody. He's got Blackstone in motion, going to the far side of the field. Baumer, the quick hit across the middle. It's completed to Allen, but he is quickly tackled and brought down. James Kelly, the linebacker, in there, joined by Al Zone, it looked like.
And that is a type of play that Norristown will eat up. We've seen Abington come out with some good schemes against Norristown tonight, but that quick play over in the middle is something that Norristown will eat up. We know that they've been being pushed back a little bit, but the strength is still their linebacking. And you throw it into that area, and that's throwing right into their strength. So we saw that time Zone and Kelly converge on that play. So Abington picks up a few yards, but not enough for the first down.
And here we go on 4th down again, this time 4th and 7. Again, the same set, Blackstone in motion to the far side. Baumer with the long count. He looks outside to Blackstone, wide open, 1st down. Wow, I'll tell you, Norristown just left that guy alone out there in the flat, and Tim Baumer, calm as can be, puts it right into the breadbasket, and Blackstone good for an easy first down.
Yeah, well, that's a great play by Abington. They rotated nicely. They had a man spread out way wide. He just went straight down the sideline, took the Norristown defensive back out of the play, and as the receiver swung out wide, Balmer had an easy target, and all he had to do was run about 3 more yards to pick up that first down. So a well-designed play, well-conceived play by Doug Moister.
First down, Abington. They're at the Norristown 20-yard line, Walt. Official timeout on the field. So the Ghosts really doing a great job of keeping this drive alive, converting on 4th down twice. And Tim Balmer showing his composure, doing a superb job delivering the ball here tonight.
It's really a masterful job of running the offense that they've done tonight. They've mixed it up in the backfield just enough to keep Norristown off balance. And obviously they come out with some very complex offensive sets when they need to go into the air. It's no receivers or 4 receivers. And it's got to be very difficult for Norristown, the defense.
First and 10, they go with that 4 wide out set. This time the motion comes to the near side with Allen. Balmer, the quick handoff up the middle to Terrell Johnson, who seems to have shaken off that leg cramp. And he's stopped by Ra Lusain, but picks up several yards on the play. Looks like Will Gant back in there, also in on the tackle.
And just when Norristown may have been considering caving in a little bit in this near this goal line situation, Abington has come out and spread it out a lot more, even on first down in this case. Norristown now has to drop their defensive backs off a little bit more, and that's allowing Abington to go one-on-one on that offensive line again and win it with their size.
3 yards on the carry brings up 2nd and 7 from the Eagles' 17-yard line. And this time they pack it in tight again. Balmer around the left side to Blackstone, through the middle, close to a first down. It's the Eagles secondary once again that has to bring down the ball carrier.
And you see a lot of Norristown defensive linemen on the ground. They're being held down, they're being knocked down, and they're just being pinned off the ball. And the plays are running exactly as designed. And when that happens, when you're not breaking up any continuity of your opponent's offense, they're going to pick up the yardage that they're getting.
And it is now another first down for the Ghost. It is 1st and goal from right on the 10-yard line. 1:17 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Abington knocking on the door. Balmer hands off again. This time a good tackle. Looks like Will Gant, is it? No, I'm sorry, that's number 20, Bobby Davis. Bobby Davis coming off the ball nicely, bringing down Blackstone. Very small gain, perhaps a yard on the carry.
And it's what Norristown has to do, get into that offensive backfield before the runner can escape it. And Davis shot off the end of the line, actually, and then pursued Blackstone down the line to make the tackle. Norristown still has the advantage in team speed. They just have to find a way to utilize it.
2nd and goal from the 9. The Eagles, with a big defensive stand here, have to keep the Ghosts to a maximum of 3 points. Allen comes in motion. It's a bootleg. They look up top. Man was open, but just overthrown, just beyond the outstretched arms of the intended receiver, who was number 1, Terrell Johnson, coming out of the backfield. He had a step on the defender, but that was a tough pass. Receiver running away from the quarterback. Balmer simply could not connect.
It's a tough pass to make if you're a right-handed quarterback running to your left, and conversely a left-hander running to the right. And you have to be real careful in these goal line situations when you throw the ball out there, because so often there's a linebacker or a safety running inside that man who you just don't see, and he comes out, picks it off, and goes for a long return.
3rd and goal from the 9. Allen drops back. This time they bootleg right. Some pressure that time by the Eagles. Delivers the pass. Terrell Johnson. We're waiting for the call. Touchdown. That time Tim Balmer goes to his right. Some pressure from the backside by the Norristown line, but not enough as Terrell Johnson bulls his way into the end zone, and that is a big score in this ball game.
Yeah,
a 9-yard touchdown pass. Sorry, Walt.
I'm sure that Norristown can't be happy with that, not only because it puts them down 2 scores towards the end of the 3rd quarter, but because Balmer bootlegging really limited his options there. And Norristown was dropped back about 5 yards deep into the end zone, and here comes Johnson just sneaking into the corner. So maybe one that could have been defensed a little better. But it's a big score for the Ghosts, and credit Balmer for having the poise to roll out there, hold the ball with the backside pursuit, and find his man.
Boy, there is a lot of talk and a lot of jawing going on that Norristown huddle. Ra-Ra Lusain is livid. Randy McNeil on to attempt his second extra point of the ball game. Right now, the score 13-3. The Ghosts up on top. 19 seconds to play in the third quarter. I believe we've got an injured player down beyond the far goalpost. If you widen your screen a little just to the right, you'll see that injured player there.
It might be Johnson again, the way they were working on that same leg he had cramped up on. And he was the man over there who caught the touchdown pass and was run out of the end zone. So it could very well be him again. And looks like they're applying the same treatment they did last time, just trying to stretch it out and massage it out to get him back. But obviously something he's going to have to deal with for this last quarter.
Oh, come on, it's an extra point. What are the odds you're going to hit him way over there? Although the way Moister calls the trick play, maybe that's where they're headed.
Yeah, their throws go out there wide, and you better watch with their trickery, Johnson popping up and being an eligible receiver over there, sneaking in off the sideline.
Waves himself into the game. Well, it was a rather first half of play, has been slowed appreciably by some slowdowns for injuries, most significantly to Terrell Johnson, but Johnson again up. That cramp didn't seem to hinder him on the touchdown score. And now Randy McNeil will set up for the extra point. High snap, they get it down. McNeil's kick is up, and it is no good. Wide to the left. Well, the Eagles get their first break of the game. I don't know if it'll have any significance. They're still down by 10, which is obviously 2 scores, but at least they don't need touchdown and the 2-point conversion to have that field goal be the tying score.
That's a big miss, but only if Norristown can come down right here and put something on the board. Obviously, if they would get a score right here, and they need to, they're going to have to give Abington back the ball, and it's still going to require a stop by the Norristown defense. What Abington has shown is that they will not turn the ball over. There hasn't been anything even close to a fumble or an interception, and with their offense, the way they control that ball, that's what you have to do. You have to get it out of their hands with something other than just a defensive stop. But their versatility is undeniable, and I think they really have time to execute their offense with that offensive line. It'll be interesting to see how that line stacks up against some of the other teams around this conference as Abington progresses. But the versatility in their offense is undeniable, and Balmer's success in running that offense is also can't be questioned.
I think you hit on a key feature, Walt. No penalties, no fumbles, a very clean game. The Ghosts have done an excellent job here tonight. I think their play selection has been outstanding, and they've kept the Norristown defense on their heels for almost the entire game.
They've got a veteran coach who obviously likes to add a little diversity into his attack, and he's lucky enough to have some players who he can do it with this year. And for a team that only put up under 12 points a game last year, they certainly look much improved on offense.
So it'll be 3 men back for the Eagles, DeAndre Baker, Lamont Johnson, and it looks like Desmond Wright is the third man ready to receive Randy McNeil's kick. And they go short again, this time taken by Al Zone at the Eagle 30-yard line, and he is quickly pulled out of bounds at the 35. So following that strategy we've seen virtually the entire game, they neglect or rather decide not to kick deep, trying to prevent the big break for the Eagles.
Well, Norristown's really their only 2 advantages are their playmaking ability and their team speed. Those 2 obviously related, but Abington has done everything they can to neutralize both those advantages while maximizing their advantage of team size and strength. And so far, Abington doing everything they want to here tonight against Norristown, and Norristown not rolling at all.
15 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Eagles down by 10, an unusual circumstance here at home for the Norristown Eagles as they are confronted with a tough Abington squad. McClure still at quarterback. This time they go outside of DeAndre Baker, and he's in trouble. Got 2 men that he just runs around, though. Boy, talk about doing it on your own. DeAndre Baker had that ball caught right at the line of scrimmage, had 2 defenders, and managed somehow to elude both of them.
Yeah, that's all Baker. And the disadvantage of spreading a man out wide like that is that there can't be anybody out there to block for him. Zitzer's got to take somebody off the line to get his man who's covering him away from Baker so that he can catch the ball. Norristown obviously is just going to rely on their players' individual ability, and that time Baker got something done and got out of bounds.
Looks like almost 11 yards on the play, Walt. 1st and 10 for Norristown at their own 46-yard line. Backs in the eye. They go to the second man through, which I believe is Thompson again, back into the ball game. Will Gant had been in there on that last offensive series. But Lamont Thompson back into the ball game, and he picks up only 2.
Your first slip up.
Oh, I did it again.
Of his backmate, or his defensive backfield mate of the past 2 years, Lamont Johnson, who the Eagles are certainly missing in the defensive backfield this year. But
so I'm calling him Lamont Thompson.
Lamont
Is that
Thompson.
it? Well,
at least we used to call them each other. So at least now we've only got one name mixed in there.
My sincere apologies to Lofton. We'll try and do a better job here.
But he is limping badly as this third quarter comes to a close. And he really just does not have the explosiveness and the power that he would normally have. The tough thing for Norristown, with a couple guys banged up and really getting worn down tonight, is that they have Central Bucks West coming up on Thursday. So a very short week, which is shortened even more by the rain out we had for Friday night, moving this game to Saturday. So Norristown has an extremely tough task in facing the toughest team they'll see all year with only 4 days to rest and 3 days to practice.
And, of course, that was the end of the third quarter, so the Eagles have 12 minutes to try and turn this ball game around. They're faced with 2nd and 8 from their own 48-yard line. And Thompson's still in there, along with his lead blocker, James Kelly. Baker and Zitzer are to the right side, far side of the field. John McClure. Deep pressure. He eludes some pressure, goes way deep. 3 men back there. DeAndre Baker makes the catch. Wow, what a play. No flags, Walt. That's going to be a big gain for the Norristown Eagles. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. And let's give some credit to John McClure. Wow, what a pass.
And a game rarely passes where Norristown does not exhibit their big play ability. And Norristown's going to have a little bit of trouble getting this play off because Lofton Thompson is struggling to get up the field, really limping. But a huge play for Norristown right there, and that's what they need. That's the only thing that they have going for them right now is their ability to make the big play. And as we mentioned, McClure found Baker 2 times last week for huge plays. This time found him again. Laid that out on a line, on the run. And just tremendous arm strength by John McClure. And a daring play to throw it over 2 men. But, Jeff, at this point, you really have to let loose and rely on your athletic ability. And that's exactly what those 2 did right there.
Great play. And, wow, they go right back to him. Touchdown! Wow! Boy, I'll tell you, there's a guy, Lofton Thompson, could barely make it back to the line of scrimmage. And they go right to him off the left side for a 7-yard touchdown. And that's the quick strike that the Norristown Eagles needed, and that has really ignited this crowd.
Yeah, Thompson really ate it up for the team that time and got down there hoping that the play would be called to him. But give credit to his line. They made it easy for him that time. You don't want that guy taking too many hits the way he's hurting right now as you see him coming off the field. And he's exhausted to boot, but the line really made it easy and blew open some holes there so Thompson could just slip in, push off on the one good leg it looks like he's got, and get Norristown right back into it.
Wow, the big strike to DeAndre Baker opens that play up for 1st and goal, and the Eagles punch it right into the end zone, and this is the first spark we've seen in this second half for the Norristown Eagles. Morano is going to attempt to make this a 3-point deficit. Good snap. Morano, plenty of time. It's up. It's good. Make it 13-10. Abington's lead cut to 3. The Norristown offense shows that they have not given up. There's 11-20, and all of a sudden we've got a great ball game.